y'all, this is Jim with Firehouse Shirt Club. We're back again with another station interview. This one I'm excited about because this was actually one of our more controversial pieces of artwork, if you can imagine that. But that's good for the club, right? That's what you guys like to see. So today I'm here with Mike Fozzy, and then Mike, will you pronounce your last name for me because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, sure. It's Foskaris.
Foskaris. So just like it's spelled, actually. Good. Well, Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on. What nationality is your last name?
The last name is Greek.
Awesome.
It's my family's from a small town called Megara, just outside of Athens. That's on my dad's side. I'm half Greek, half Venezuelan.
Fantastic. Very good. Well, Mike, we featured this fire station. You are with the Las Vegas Fire Department. We featured y'all in December of 2024. I just noticed you have the T-shirt on as well, and then I've got a copy of it, or I have one of the shirts here for everybody to see. If you guys remember this in the club, we featured it in December. Our members loved it, and then sometimes our members, and just kind of going back, a lot of our members they're collectors of fire gear and antique fire gear and collectors of the fire service. There's a lot of firemen and fire women that are also collectors, but we also have a lot of kids out there that are collectors as well. So moms or dads will get this for their kids, and their kids want to grow up to be firemen. So these are great additions, for them as well. And then sometimes when we get some of this artwork, they email us, we don't like skulls or we don't like whatever, and we apologize. Not every piece of artwork is going to appeal to every single person. That's just the nature of the business. We try to do stuff that's interesting, and also fire stations that have a good story or from cool locations. And this one came around, and we were super excited to have it. So tell us a little bit about, Mike, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about this artwork and how this artwork came to be.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to tell you guys a little bit about our girl there, the Blue Angel. So I've got my cup here. Maybe you guys can see this. I'm not sure. This is kind of like the original logo right here.
Yeah.
And who who the Blue Angel is well, first off, I'm in downtown Las Vegas. So if you think about before the big strip hotels and all that, there was the row of motels right on Fremont Street, and one of the motels was the Blue Angel Motel. And atop of the motel was this figurine of this Blue Angel with a halo, and she's holding this like scepter in this blue dress, beautiful blonde hair, and she kind of became our station mascot. So she was incorporated into our early logos over the last 20 years, and she's just an iconic part of the neighborhood, right? And we looked at her as like kind of this guardian angel that overwatches the neighborhood, and that's in many ways that's what public servants do, right? Whether you're police or fire, is you're taking care of the neighborhood. So it was natural, for us to want to pick her and have her be our logo or our mascot, if you will. And what you folks did was just kind of made it really personal to kind of what's happening in our neighborhood today, and personal to the B shift at Vegas Fire. So, but that's like a short background on who she is.
Yeah, so a lot of times the station features that we do represent the entire station, the location. In this particular case, it's B shift, right?
This one is unique to B shift. I mean, the Blue Angel certainly is the mascot logo, if you will, of the station, no doubt. We wear her. We wear a different. This iteration of her is what's approved by the department, and we actually get to wear it on our shirts. On the back of our shirts. But what you guys created is specific to B platoon, and that was something that I wanted to do as the captain of B platoon to level up the crew morale and cohesion on my ship in particular, and also to kind of challenge the other shifts to because there's two sides to every to the sword, if you will, right? So while on one hand it kind of cut the other shifts a bit because they just loved the logo, but it was tough for them to like love the other shift's logo. It really brought those other two shifts together even more, right? Because there's a very healthy competitive rivalry within the house between the three platoons. So everyone's embraced it. Maybe some of the guys on the other platoons got some shirts. I won't say any names here since this is being recorded, but they might wear the shirt on their off duty because the logo's so great. You guys really nailed it.
That's awesome. So we had, in your case, we made some updates to your logo and helped you sort of recreate it for this purpose. A lot of times, yeah. So a lot of times, fire stations will come to us and have great original artwork or have a great story about their station, but their artwork isn't might need some updating. So you were able to reach out to us, and we were able to come up with this piece of art, which I think is killer. One of our artists did it, and I think they did a fantastic job. It's a whole heck of a lot of fun. So back to that camaraderie between the stations. So you guys have a healthy relationship between your shifts. A lot of stations that aren't quite so healthy. Locks in the refrigerators and stealing food. I think that's just all part of it.
It's a bummer. I mean, your roommates, that kind of stuff happens, so when you get mad about it, it's just better to talk about it and hash it out. It's unfortunate when you get to that point. We're fortunate that we don't have it. It does take work though. That's the secret to it. It's just communication, being curious first before you're furious, and talking it out, trying to be mature about it.
Yeah. Yep, totally agree. So about your shifts there, what type of shifts are you guys running in Las Vegas?
We are on a 48-96 schedule, so guys are familiar with that. We're there for 2 days straight. They're two independent shifts, obviously, but it's 2 days on, 4 days off.
Have you always been on that, or has that been a recent change?
No, we haven't always been on it. We used to be on a modified Kelly. It was three every other day, and then four off. So you had to we call them tweener days in between. We've been on that since forever, I don't know, 80 some years or something like that. But we went to the 48-96. Gosh, it escapes me. At least five, maybe six, could even be like 8 years ago. I can't remember. Things kind of start to blur, with time. But we've been on it for a good amount. Most guys like it. Like Station 4 is a very busy, very hopping firehouse, and it's challenging there because you have 2 days of little to no rest. But I really enjoy the schedule because I drive into work one time, I drive home one time, right? The first day is like, hey buddy, what'd you do on your 4 day? And the next shift is like, hey buddy, what are you going to do on your 4 day, right? So
Right.
it's nice to have that break, but it is challenging. I'm in my 18th year, so I'm not new, I'm not super old, but I'm getting I can be tired sometimes, from it. There's two sides to every coin, as I already said once before, right? So there are some challenges, but overall, I really like the schedule.
So about your station in particular, tell us a little bit about the apparatus that you guys have there.
Sure, yeah. So for right now, currently we have an engine, two rescues. Those are ambulances in the department. We do have ambulances that firefighters rotate on and off of. So we're an engine and two rescues. It's pretty much like the worst rotation in the world because you spend two cycles, right? Two 48-hour shifts on a rescue before you get to move over to the engine. So it's a tough house to work at because it's busy and like you have more time on the ambulance than you do on the engine. But guys choose to work there, I think, because of the culture, because of the fire duty volume. You can look at a department and say that, hey, from the top down, the fire chief, our assistants or deputies, however you're structured, and then whoever's below them, our battalion chiefs, our captains, that they all get it. That's not always the case. We're pretty fortunate with Las Vegas that we do have a strong culture from our leadership. Sure. But I think for people that are curious about that, you nailed it. It starts. The first thing is looking at your firehouse and how you can control the culture in your firehouse, right?
Totally.
And work with like-minded firefighters. Go seek out mentorship or leadership from a captain that you want to work from, and start there, right? And if you don't necessarily have that support from the top, then you create that support for below you, right? Yep. And then it's as my buddy Robbie Fisher says, it's 10 pounds of pressure 100% of the time. Just do the right stuff, and a rising tide will lift all ships. You can elevate crews around you and your battalion.
Totally.
Captains can mentor up and kind of mentor their battalion chiefs in some respects. Like you show them what good culture is, you gain respect, you gain autonomy, you gain the ability to kind of run your firehouse without dad having his hands in there. So
yeah, Mike, you get me excited. I want to come work for you. Oh, yeah. Hey, if nothing else, next time I'm in Vegas, I'm certainly going to go knock on Station 4 and see if you're there. With regard to like station wear, I know there's a lot of controversy. Not a lot. I shouldn't say that. I'm overstating. There is controversy in some fire departments whether fire stations should have their own sort of identity and their own logos that represent their station. What is your feeling on? I have my own personal feeling. But what's Mike's feeling on stations having a logo that like represents their station?
Hell yeah. I think
Right.
it's important. I absolutely. I do, the older I get and like the more time I spend in like a leadership capacity on the department, I start to understand like the Kool-Aid that some of these guys, you hear about the drinking the Kool-Aid, like you just start to gain perspective. Like we're supposed to mature as people and evolve, right? And so I understand where our admin officers, like the cohesion and there's different reasons for it. But we're talking about like, do we want to make a mountain out of a molehill type issue in my mind? Like, if the boys and girls want to have their own station logo, they should have it. If they want to proudly wear it or display it on their apparatus or on their shirt, you should create an opportunity for that, right? So whether that's like, putting it on the side of your sleeve or like the way we have it is like ours says Las Vegas Fire around it and then Las Vegas Fire Rescue. So in the middle, we're allowed to put our logo. Like make something possible for them, right? It's not a bad deal. There's a way to blend both, and all it really does is I suppose it could be used negatively, but the way I see it is the people that have the ambition to do this kind of stuff are people that want to put work into something, right? Some positive energy, and it's positive energy into their crew, into their station, into their identity. And that just makes their station better, again, their battalion better, the department better, right? So if they're leveling each other up, like why would you hinder that? It's silly to fight about it in my mind.
So, one final question. This one's kind of a fun one. Mike, what would you tell, if you had a chance to go back, what would you tell your rookie self when you were a rookie?
I would say that attitude matters more than your talent. Um, early on, there's pressure to prove yourself, whether it's physically, tactically, socially, right? Do I fit in? Like, am I smart? Am I strong enough? Right. But um, longevity, respect, and impact, uh, those come from humility and consistency and the way you carry yourself when no one's looking. you know so
Totally.
you hear people say shut up and listen, like it's kind of along those lines, right? It's just about being humble and being willing to put the work in. I think when you build and I learned these by doing the wrong things, to be honest with you. I came in a little bit too hot when I was new. I think people that are really passionate about the fire service, they probably have a tendency to come in a little too hot, right? We also have our own healthy dose of egos, all of us. I think it's
For
it's
sure.
not a it's not a industry that normally draws kind of tame folks to it, and like there's a little bit of an edge to us, right? But you want to learn to build trust with people, and not inflate your ego, because that'll hurt you a lot, right? So and I think you do that by seeking mentorship. You look at the people that you want to be like. um, Maybe the trick there is not the like 5-year guy that you want to be like, but maybe the 15 or 20-year guy that you want to be like. That's really who
That's
you should be
right.
seeking to be your mentor. The guy
That's
who's
right.
got the 5 years on, he also needs to be looking at those guys. He's not quite where he needs to be yet either. But I would
Yeah.
say that. I maybe one more thing I'd say is to take care of your body. You know, I think the new guys are in a lot better spot with all the uh, science that we have around stuff. But I know when I first started, I actually worked for a different department before I worked for Vegas. I did 4 years out in a neighboring smaller department before I came over to the city. I've been with the city for 14 years now. But over there, it was like a little more wild, wild west, a little more John Wayne time. 3-station department, 9 people per day. A lot of departments are like that in the country. And we would overhaul, and I was exhausted, right? Because you spend 9 firefighters to a fire, and then two get two of them get pulled off because I got to go to an EMS call. Now you're fighting the fire with 7. But of the 7, maybe 3 or 4 are doing the lion's share of the work. So you're just smoked afterwards. And the first
Oh
thing you want to
yeah.
do is take your jacket off, get your SCBA off, you're overhauling in there, no mask on, and you don't know anything other than what you see in Hollywood. You got black soot and all that stuff coming out of your nose, and you think it's cool, and it is pretty cool. I mean, but it's also pretty dumb. And I think that a lot of those actions back in the day have kind of hurt me. Now, almost 20 years later. Uh, so you got to take care of your body. And
Totally.
maybe the last thing, actually, sorry, I got one more. It's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's that this job is really hard if you're not selfless, right? If you make the job about you, like, hey, I'm mad that the bells went off in the middle of my workout, or I'm mad that I got woken up from rest, right? Or that in the middle of my meal, this job becomes really hard to it becomes a job, right? And it becomes really hard to enjoy.
Yeah.
So you got to remember to be selfless, because this job will demand nothing else out of you. If you can't give it that, then it's going to ruin you. You know.
No doubt. I mean, that is the job, right? It is public service. And when I say service, I mean service. I mean, you're there to serve the public, and you're right. You've got to have that type of an attitude. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. We really appreciate you jumping on and doing one of these station interviews with us. It was certainly a pleasure to feature your station in our artwork in December. That was fantastic as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back around, and maybe you're at a different station, and we'll feature again and get you on one of these again. But I just wanted to say we appreciate it, and I know our club members appreciate it. Appreciate the work you do. And if there's ever anything that we can do for you, let us know. If you were to, if somebody were to ask you from a different department, different station, whether they should work with Firehouse Shirt Club and feature their station, what would your answer be?
Oh man, that's a no-brainer. It's absolutely right. Like, working with you and the artist I worked with was a guy named Ed. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Good guy to just chat with on the phone. He's definitely a fire buff. Um,
Yes.
Easy to work with, great company,
Awesome.
excellent product. I mean,
Awesome.
just all around high fives.
Awesome, man. Well, Mike, we appreciate it. We really do. Thank you for jumping on with us, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And if there's anything we can do for you, you've got my number. Reach out, man.
Thank you, brother. All right, you
All
guys
right.
take care.
All
See ya.
right. Thank you.
Firehouse Shirt Club. That was another station interview, this time with Station 4 out of Las Vegas. We featured them a few months ago, but I wanted to get you inside the station just a little bit, which we'll continue to do this year in 2025. So we appreciate you watching, and as always, appreciate you being a member, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, y'all.